of this. And the first song I want to talk about is Mad at Disney by Salem Ilese. What's the story behind it? How'd that all come to fruition?
Yeah, no, it was kind of once we'd moved to LA, we were sessioning around and kind of doing the speed dating round, which it
is what it is. Got to do it.
Meet people and you say yes to every session that anyone throws your way. We had a session with this guy who actually went to Berkeley and I had kind of worked with, Jason Haas. Yeah, we were trying to figure out what to write, and me and Salem had a very systematic way of writing where we try to figure out what to write about before digging too much into anything. Yeah, we had this conversation about, I think Jason said he was mad at Disney at one point, and that's a funny title.
Yes.
Or that's a funny concept. And it's funny too, because we actually, the chorus about that song, what we were really discussing was what is the feeling of love?
Right.
Because you've felt felt sad love, sadness. It's also happiness. It's also, so we kind of came up with the conclusion that love is probably all the emotions combined. And that's what we really set out to make the song about. And then we wrote a version. We got a lot of nice response from the industry. We weren't that excited about it, to be honest. At the first,
I remember when Salem showed it to me a couple months before it came out, or I don't remember how long it was, but it was before it came out. I was like, "This is good. This is special."
So it was. We had a early version. I'm not sure if you heard that.
I don't remember which one I heard. I just remember whatever she showed me. I was like, "This is your best song you've written so far."
So we came back from winter break or something, and we had almost a full EP planned out, but we needed, because we were kind of on a roll with Spotify where they would put us on New Music Friday and stuff like that. So we kind of just needed one more song to just throw out before
For our listeners really quickly, that Spotify, they really encourage you to keep releasing things. They want to see that you have more releases coming out. So that's what Bendik was saying, where they were putting us on New Music Friday. They kind of expect you to keep putting shit out.
No, it's I feel like the thing that happened way too often is people putting one song out and then it does surprisingly well, and then there's nothing to follow it up with, and then the pressure adds on, and then a year or two later they put their next song out, and it's
and then the algorithm's like, "Oh, we thought you were dead."
Yeah,
you're not dead.
2 years. Yeah, thought you were tired of that one song. Yeah, so I remember we said, okay, let's do Mad at Disney. The industry at least seems to like it so much. Might be something to it.
And did you? Was she signed at that point, or you guys were doing it all self-release at that point?
Yeah, this was all self. She had her manager at the point.
Right.
Yeah. So I was kind of like, okay, if we're gonna release it, let's make it into a product that we like.
Right.
And then we went back in with Jason, and we rewrote by his suggestion to rewrite the second verse, make it slightly lean more towards Disney themed. And then at one point, I still wasn't fully sold on the production, so I took over the stems and kept the best and did some more stuff.
That's it. That's the great thing about co-producing.
It's great. Yeah.
It's when you can go back and forth. And
someone always has does something way better than you, and so you get to keep those things and then add the stuff. Yeah.
So I'm glad we're getting to the production there. So what was that like? Did Jason start the production and the session, and then you finished? So of all the songs that you've written and produced, that's my favorite production of yours. The on that song, all the little background vocals and the string parts that are kind of in unison there are really great. What string parts, were those real strings? Were they samples? Do you remember how you did those guys?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Because they sound great.
Thank you. Yeah. No, so it's actually funny because I don't know if have you been around the classical kids a lot, classical music kids, a lot of them joke about the viola.
Yeah.
How that's kind of a necessary part of the orchestra, which is, so for me, I remember when I started making that, I was kind of in this mindset, I want to do kind of the opposite of what everyone is doing. So when I chose the main string, I chose the viola.
Wow.
But then I couldn't make it sound the way because I wanted it to be like very dynamic. I wanted to kind of go like dun 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 dun, and kind of like the top note be like more.
Right.
And I wasn't a good enough producer yet to like do that like with my skills.
Right.
So I used layering. So I added a kick and made a kick soft. So it's like the pluck and like the meat off the pluck is actually just like a subtle kick.
Right. So you're basically using the kick to get that like transient punch in there.
Yeah.
That's really clever.
Because I knew what I wanted, but I just couldn't do it myself.
But you did do it yourself.
Yeah. No, I couldn't do it just with that one track.
That's the best thing about like those early production days where you're just like, you end up coming up with really creative things where you're like, I don't fucking know how to do this. Like, and then you just like...
My process has always been just make it like whatever it takes.
Yeah.
That's kind of...
That's really like, and was it like a string VST or was it a sample? What was?
Yeah, it was Splice.
Splice.
Yeah, so I just found like sounds on Splice that I liked, and I still do that. So, but
that's incredible.
Also chopped every single individual one in, which takes a lot of time.
Yes.
And same with like the string arrangements with the long strings. It's just Splice. So I would take like one splice of the say the cello, and I'll be like, I want the cello to be this note, and then I'll find a cello sample that is like the same with a different note, and like
that's incredible, man.
And it takes a long time, and I do it in way too many productions.
But you know, it doesn't sound like it's a bunch of different samples. Like you really melded it together, really well. Because ever since I've heard that song, I was always curious what the strings were. Because I'm like, man, did he just happen to find like a really good like arrangement of string samples that work perfectly for the song? And no, you did the really hard thing.
Yeah, literally chopping it up. And,
so you chopped it up. Did you like so you found a sample for each note, or did you like pitch shift any in Ableton or Logic or whatever?
I definitely pitch shift some.
Yeah,
but I did actually in that one try to because I did this one in Logic when
You did that one in Logic?
Yeah, I did my Disney Logic. Yeah. Maybe I should get back to Logic.
I remember you telling me a while ago that like I knew you worked in Logic at one point.
So it wasn't, at least maybe I didn't figure out how, but the pitching wasn't as good as in Ableton. So in Ableton it's way easier to pitch stuff, at least to my
No, it definitely is.
So I did for that one find I had to make sure I found sample packs that had individual notes that did the same thing.
Right. That's incredible, man. That's really cool, layering a pluck with a kick like that. That's a really neat little trick.
But
the kick, was it just saying static with the note, or was the pitch also, was the kick also being pitched up, if you remember?
Don't think that was pitched. Yeah. I think that was static on the note. Yeah. But I did like the dynamic, so I made like the first one very soft.
Right. Yeah. That's really smart, man. It's like, if you think about how a piano, or like you say, when you pluck a violin or viola, it's like hitting something you